This day would never arrive, they vowed. The receipts will remain hidden, they said. However, the quiet is broken tonight. The walls are falling apart. Furthermore, no one was ready to hear the type of bombshell that Jim Jones dropped, not even Chrissy or her alleged spouse. Raw video, audio so crisp it cuts like a knife, and leaked receipts. And the sinister mystery that lies at its core. It is more repulsive, substantial, and damaging than anything this business has seen in a long time. This goes beyond simple rumors. This goes beyond mere theatrics. A family, a brand, and a fraternity that was meant to live forever are being torn apart by this treachery, which was captured in 4K and revealed to such a profound degree. Jim didn't allude to this in a mysterious post or whisper it in a private setting. He captured it on camera so that everyone could see it. Furthermore, it is not even covered by the fallout explosion. The receipts reveal covert meetings and money trails. Fans were surprised to learn that some names were involved in this controversy. And there's no denying the way Jim delivers it with that distinctive venom. In the public glare, Chrissy's boyfriend is apprehended, surrounded, and humiliated. However, this is the query that is now consuming all timelines. Why now? Why did Jim keep these things to himself for so long? And why is he destroying everything at this very moment? Stay still, because the next thing you're going to hear will completely upend the industry. This was beyond the capabilities of the internet. Fans awoke to a leaked video that quickly went viral. Jim Jones can be seen pacing, like a man obsessed, brandishing papers in his hand and trembling with wrath in this grainy backstage footage. Nobody first understood what was going on. The only thing in the video was Jim yelling at someone off camera. There was no background information or caption. However, captions appeared within minutes. He is referring to Chrissy's spouse. There are receipts for it? This goes beyond meat. Exposure is what this is. At that point, everything went wrong. It wasn't music that Jim Jones was complaining about. It wasn't discussing past Dipset turmoil. Like a felon on trial, he was dragging Chrissy's boyfriend in front of the world while brandishing paperwork, money, transactions, contracts, and screenshots. His remarks resembled gunshots. You believed no one was aware. You believed you could conceal it. No, it's finished. Waves of shock were instantaneous. Fans analyzed every second of the video, slowing down the audio and improving the paper trail as it amassed hundreds of thousands of views in a matter of hours. When Jim gestured to the camera, they saw something darker than they had anticipated. Jim claims that Chrissy's spouse wasn't just caught in the act. Allegedly, he was involved in dubious transactions, backroom payments, and relationships with names that have been spoken in whispers. For years, Jim named names in the business that no one ever imagined would be brought up. Receipts, executives, promoters, and even artists. They weren't just vague accusations. They included precise dates, sums, and line-by-line transcriptions of discussions. Fans were shocked to see a messaging conversation between Chrissy's boyfriend and a promoter over keeping Jim in the dark in one specific snapshot. This was more than simply love and treachery. It was business sabotage. In the recording that was released, Jim personally mentioned that, "You attempted to play with my pockets, and you believed I'd never find out. You see, though everything that is black eventually comes to light." His voice cracked with rage due to the breach of trust as well as the financial gain for Jim. Contracts have nothing to do with this. It has to do with family. Every fan who watched felt shivers down their spines as he said, "You crossed the line when you crossed me." Social media exploded right away. Screenshots of the receipts went viral on Twitter. In order to piece together the time frame, TikTok producers created breakdown videos with headlines like "Jim finally had enough." Instagram bloggers shared videos, and Chrissy was caught in the midst of the chaos. The question is all over the place. Why didn't Chrissy say anything if she knew? When he was stabbing Jim in the back, did she defend her man? Or, like everyone else, was she caught off guard? There were more and more whispers that this wasn't an unexpected eruption. Details of the evening were leaked by insiders. Everything came to a boil. One crew member who wished to remain anonymous said that Jim's discovery of a deal he had been banking on was the catalyst for the altercation following a performance. Inexplicably, a significant endorsement with a high-end brand had fallen through. Before someone backstage gave him an envelope, Jim assumed it was bad luck. Copies of records that connected Chrissy's husband to the same company, offering backdoor deals in return for forcing Jim out. The last straw was that the tape that was released began when Jim barged into the dressing room while the cameras were inadvertently still recording. His expression was one of outright treachery. A man discovered that someone he believed to be family had been plotting against him for years. And fans made the connections when the video was posted online. Jim appeared resentful in previous interviews. Slight shading between Dipset members and past cryptic tweets. All of a sudden, it was made obvious. The plot takes a darker turn at this point, though. Jim had receipts for more than one transaction. His tirade claimed that they belonged to a pattern, made repeated attempts to deny him employment, chances, and money. Additionally, there are chances, efforts, credibility, and the guy behind it all Chrissy's man. While attempting to delete me, Jim said, "You've been eating off my name." There was no mistaking the anger in his voice. Fans were incredulous. Was there jealousy here? Was Jim going overboard? Or had Chrissy's hubby actually been planning for years in the background? Timelines were ripped apart in the dispute. Jim had every right to finally speak the truth, according to those who supported him. Others questioned why he held off on dropping everything until now. If Jim had these receipts all along, what else is he hiding? A fan tweeted while on camera, "He shielded Chrissy for too long, but loyalty only goes so far," is another retort. Then the unexpected disclosures happened. Anonymous sources started making audio recordings that supported Jim's statements a few hours after the video went viral. In one, a voice that uncannily resembled Chrissy's spouse could be heard giggling with another man about not telling Jim anything. The tone of the scratchy, distorted footage was unmistakably arrogant. Fans were playing it over and over again, claiming the voice matched previous interviews of Chrissy's lover. It's him all the way. It's undeniable. There was one statement that went viral. Chrissy, meanwhile, said nothing. She didn't share anything. She remained silent. She did not stand up for her guy. And that quiet spoke a lot. Fans saw it as damage control, astonishment, and guilt. According to sources, however, Soiree, she was crying behind the scenes because she couldn't decide between the man she loved and the one who had supported her for years. Not only was Jim betrayed, but she was as well. After watching the video, Spice, who had been close to both, allegedly texted someone saying, "This is too much. What I just heard is unbelievable." Jim apparently threatened to release further tape, which further increased the tension. He growled on camera, "If you think this is awful, wait till you see the next one. I have files that will change how the entire city perceives him." Social media was rocked by just one sentence. What further receipts did Jim have in his stash? What was the extent of the betrayal? The panic in the industry was apparent. There were rumors that some well-known people were frantically calling because they were afraid their identities would be in those files. Bloggers hinted that Chrissy's spouse wasn't the only subject of this. This concerned a web of dubious transactions that had the potential to embarrass half the city. Finally, fed up with stillness, Jim was prepared to set everything on fire. Everyone was on edge because of the cliffhanger. Would Jim genuinely make the upcoming set of receipts available? Was this only a warning shot, though? Who else would be revealed in the aftermath if he did? The tale didn't simply become viral on the internet, it took off. By morning, Even political topics were being overshadowed by hot hashtags like #GMXexposes and #Chrissy caught up. Every gossip site, every blog. Jim's leaked receipts were being examined by a free hip-hop criticism website, as if they were FBI case files. People circled the contract numbers and slowed down the video. Jim flared and even engaged voice specialists to examine the audio recording purportedly showing Chrissy's husband boasting about not telling Jim anything. The general consensus was that there was an unpleasant odor. Chrissy's quiet was not being tolerated by the streets. Either. Fans flocked to her Instagram remarks that call for responses. "Why don't you say anything, Chrissy? Say anything. Is untrue." Clap back. But she didn't post anything to defend her spouse. It's just silence, no narrative, no selfie, no statement. Furthermore, in the realm of rappers and reality TV stars, silence speaks louder than words. Jim, however, was not finished. He went live once more a few hours after the initial video was revealed. Jim claimed to be calmer but deadlier this time, brandishing his phone as if it were a weapon. Then came the most unexpected turn yet. Online, leaked text messages were discovered. Between a well-known promoter and Chrissy's husband, the exchange appeared to be damning. Money divides, dubious rewards, and repeated requests to keep Jim out were all discussed. Fans were enraged at one sentence in particular. "We take ownership of the luggage once he leaves." Really, everything fans believe to be true about Chrissy's marriage may be destroyed by just one message. The kicker is this, though. The screenshots just contained cropped bubbles that may have originated from anywhere. There were no timestamps or contact names evident. The internet didn't care, though. The story was established. Chrissy's partner was at fault. Thousands of listeners debated what was genuine as Twitter Spaces appeared quickly. Jim was finally revealing a snake that had been feeding off his shine, according to some. Others contended that was all a setup, a last-ditch effort to attract attention during a dip in their career. However, a startling voice abruptly joined the conversation. "Yandi's guy, Mendez." He added, "You guys don't know the half of it," during a live conversation. For years, this has been the case. Jim is telling the truth. The internet was completely appended by just one statement. It was confirmed by someone close to Jim and Chrissy's social circle. Perhaps the smoke was indeed fire. There was a vicious domino effect. In a day, memes were all over the place. Old videos of him talking about business ventures that were later misrepresented as proof of dubious activities came to light. Bigger A-list stars started to comment as well. 50 Cent, "You never want to pass on a chance," shared a screen grab of Jim's tirade along with the comment, "Damn it, be your own people at all times. LOL Cardi B." ALLEGEDLY trusted the receipts and spice after liking a post that included Chrissy's hubby. She said, "This is why I don't trust anybody in this industry," while shaking her head live. There is no such thing as loyalty. However, Cameron made the most startling move of all. Jim's lifelong brother, who is now his competition, posted something. "Mysterious, receipts don't lie," was the solitary sentence. "Before further leaks surface, you guys had best start speaking the truth." The post revealed the entire story. Jim was being co-signed by Cam. Then perhaps this controversy was more serious than fans had thought. Did Cam imply that he had receipts as well? Did Chrissy's husband participate in a larger plot against Jim? Bloggers began referring to the speculative activity as the receipt war since it became so intense. Then the phone call was revealed. It's an audio recording of a guy who was purportedly Chrissy's husband. Pleading with someone not to dump the files was posted by a gossip website. He spoke in a desperate tone. "You're not understanding. I'm done if gets out. Everything I created is gone." The internet immediately connected it to Jim's threat to divulge the main course. Did Jim harbor a more sinister secret? So damaging that Chrissy's husband was afraid it would come to light. Chrissy was at this point unable to remain silent any longer. At last, she shared a dark screen image on Instagram along with the caption, "Don't believe everything you see. A lie spreads more quickly than the truth." However, the harm had already been done. Fans bombarded the comments section, accusing her of shielding her partner, calling her post weak, and requesting to hear her side of the tale. Some even stopped following her, saying they no longer respected her. The retaliation was swift and vicious. However, insiders said that Chrissy was having a breakdown behind the scenes. She reportedly yelled at her husband in private for entangling her in a scandal that made her appear foolish on national blogs. One statement from their debate was leaked by an insider. "You allowed me to be humiliated. You allowed him to demolish what we had constructed, and for what purpose? You didn't even keep the bag." According to the story, Chrissy was angry, ashamed, and maybe even prepared to leave. Jim doubled down in the meantime. He baited viewers with a comment, "Y'all think he's dirty?" During another Instagram Live, "Hold on, I tell you what else. I have. This individual is tampering not just with money, but also with life." The inference was terrible. Was Jim implying that Chrissy's spouse had committed a crime? Something more sinister than monetary treachery? Theories erupted in the chat. Fraud, drugs, and even relationships with harmful individuals. Everyone was clamoring for answers, but no one knew for sure. When an enigmatic account revealed what they dubbed the second folder, it was the last straw of the evening. It had one startling picture: incomplete bank transactions and blurry pictures of paperwork. Chrissy's husband and an executive are seated in a restaurant. Years earlier, Jim had accused him in public of blackballing him. The inference was obvious. The spouse of Chrissy wasn't only playing both sides, who's apparently always collaborating with Jim's adversaries. The internet discussed, argued, and gasped. However, one fact remained indisputable. The receipts were becoming increasingly shady every hour. Jim then made his last remarks of the evening. His voice was deep and unsettling as he spoke into the camera. "If you guys think it's over, you haven't seen anything yet," he continued. "The truth is revealed tomorrow. Careers will terminate as a result. People's reputations will burn. Families will disintegrate. I promise you there was a nuclear cliffhanger." What did Jim's subsequent drop contain? Would Chrissy ultimately leave her partner defend herself? And how serious was this treachery in reality? The internet awoke the morning following Jim's terrifying threat as if it had been struck by an earthquake. With the arrival of the second drop, notifications spread like wildfire. Not only was it disorganized, but it was also disastrous. A video was uploaded by Jim Jones on his webpage, enough to stop the world, yet not too lengthy or ostentatious. It captured Chrissy's husband speaking to two men whose features were blurry. In a poorly lit rear room, he had a distinct voice, and the things he was saying were poison. "We're okay as long as Jim doesn't receive that deal. Keep him in a box. He no longer needs to eat from this city. It's like a bomb." That one phrase exploded. Fans questioned why Jim was never given any sponsorships for years. Were receiving. Now, the entire story changed with only one video. Did Jim get blackballed from large money moves because of Chrissy's husband? Was he undermining Jim's career by posing his family? Twitter completely collapsed. "Yo, this man was holding Jim back the entire time," said one user. "Worse than treachery. That is sabotage," another person wrote. "Chrissy was aware. There's no chance she was unaware." Chrissy was no longer only a bystander to the drama. She was portrayed as being complicit. The blogs went by fast. "Did Chrissy's husband secretly destroy Jim Jones' career?" was one of the headlines on gossip websites. Industry experts stepped in, muttering that explains a lot. As YouTube was inundated with reaction films analyzing the footage, one publication quoted an unnamed former executive as saying, "There were constant rumors about why Jim wasn't getting reservations for particular excursions. People said that last-minute negotiations fell through. It now seems logical that someone close to him was pushing strings in light of this leak. The subsequent receipts, however, were the fallout if the video was the bomb. Screenshots of wire transfers showing thousands of dollars going into accounts connected to Chrissy's spouse were in Jim's second folder. The dates coincided oddly with times when Jim missed significant chances. Even worse, there were purported emails that showed Chrissy's husband communicating with executives and promoters about excluding Jim from events. It was icy, business-like language. Jim adds pointless drama. It would benefit the brand if he didn't participate. The fans couldn't speak. The treachery was no longer merely personal, took years to develop, was calculated, and was systematic. Not all of Chrissy's man's conversations took place behind Jim's back. Allegedly, he was planning a whole effort to remove him from the limelight in the business. The emotional blow followed. Another audio clip was leaked. This time with Jim was crying as he told someone on the phone. "Oh, I thought it was me," he added, his voice breaking. "I believed I wasn't putting in enough effort at work, was not moving properly. They were the ones in my immediate circle the entire time. Imagine losing your life for this game and the person with the knife is your family." The video was painful, unvarnished, and humanized Jim in a way that immediately inspired supporters to support him. Chrissy's world was disintegrating in real time in the meantime. She was wearing dark shades when the paparazzi captured her leaving her home, while her husband hurried. "Did you sabotage Jim's career?" yelled a reporter. Even though he didn't respond, his quiet was sufficient to fan the flames. The Love and Hip Hop cast was also unable to remain silent. Yandi shared a mysterious tale. Truth always finds its way to the surface. Ben stating this. Spice went live, clearly disturbed, declaring, "Dude, this industry is demonic. Strangers are not the ones who betray. It comes from the people you care about." Mama Jones even added her voice, launching into a venomous tirade that quickly went viral years ago. "I informed Chrissy that she wasn't a good fit for him. At the chaos now, my youngster was worthy of better." Did every time? Her remarks caused a whole new wave of unrest. Police supporters divided between raking Chrissy for dirt and backing Jim. Chrissy for filth. The greatest surprise of all, though, was Cameron's reappearance. This past time, he did more than simply make disparaging remarks. "You guys don't even know the half." He captioned the photo of Jim's receipts that he uploaded. "Lucky K, I've kept what I know to myself. The internet went crazy." Cam is waiting on even more shady information on Chrissy's spouse. Was there more to this conflict than everyone had thought? All of a sudden, it seemed as though the history of the Dipset was being revealed to us. Insiders said that Chrissy and her husband were engaged in combat behind closed doors. During a disagreement, Chrissy yelled at him, according to a person who spoke to a gossip website. "You destroyed us. I was damaged by you, all for a small amount of money and influence. Everyone now believes that I am complicit," according to the report. She tossed her ring on the table and rushed out, slamming the door so forcefully that the walls trembled. Fans believed it whether it was real or not, and spread the rumor that Chrissy was prepared to break up with her partner permanently. The memes became more crude. Old TV footage of Chrissy standing up for her lover was made into a comedy. The scene where Jim finds the receipts was reenacted by TikToks. Verified accounts even joined in on the fun, making Chrissy's husband appear to be the greatest liar in hip-hop history. His reputation had been fully executed in public. However, Jim wasn't content to only reveal the past. He desired to burn the gift. Jim held out what he dubbed the final receipt as he concluded his most recent live stream, which was his most dramatic yet. He didn't display it. He didn't read it. "If you all thought what I dropped was heavy, wait until you see this one paper," he remarked, grinning at the camera. He will be buried forever by one truth. Supporters prayed, begged, and conjectured. What was written on that document? Was that Evidence of a crime, proof of an affair, an admission. No one was aware. However, everyone concurred. Jim was in control, and Chrissy's husband's business was in disarray. It was complete anarchy. Brands kept their distance. Alleged business associates severed their connections. While Chrissy herself experienced the lowest point in her public existence, would she support her partner and accompany him on his descent? Or will she eventually change her mind and acknowledge that Jim was correct all along? As if the storm couldn't get much worse, a last leak appeared online late that evening. It was an email purportedly sent by Chrissy herself ordering her husband to stop before Jim finds out the last part. That is the one thing that is unable to be revealed. The admirers were astonished by the mysterious message. How could the last detail be so catastrophic and terrible that even Chrissy understood it had to remain hidden? The betrayals were awful, the receipts were damning, the cliffhanger was brutal, and the truth was still lacking. The same question was now being asked by everyone. What could possibly be worse than what has already been revealed? Will Chrissy's husband's image be destroyed when Jim releases that last receipt, and will Chrissy go down with him? The question is now lingering in the atmosphere like smoke. What is the last receipt that Jim has yet to show us? Whatever is still in that folder may be the last nail in the coffin if the disclosures to date were sufficient to ruin Chrissy's husband's whole reputation. Is it illegal? Is it intimate? Is it anything so profound that it also brings down Chrissy? Fans are going crazy, the industry is booming, and the truth is being revealed layer by layer like the most poisonous onion hip-hop has ever seen. For this reason, you can't ignore what's about to happen. A single spill, leak, or additional disclosure might completely change the course of events. Don't just stand by and let this disaster unfold. Join the discussion as history is actually being unraveled in real time. So this is what you must do. If you believe Jim has every right to reveal this treachery, click the like button immediately. Leave a comment below with your opinions. Do you support Chrissy or Jim? Or do you believe her husband forced everyone into an unwinnable conflict? Most essential, enable all alerts and subscribe. Because you don't want to learn about it from someone else when the final receipt arrives. Here is where you want to be the first to witness it happen. This is no longer only rumors. It's the end of a heritage, survival, and treachery. The upcoming chapter won't be any more catastrophic, but it will be louder and darker. Keep an eye out.